I'm like, wow, I'm in the right field. So I do one season. It gets canceled after one season. You know, it's TV, it's Hollywood. And I'm like, oh, so like I'm about to be on the show like the next month. Like I'm not really tripping. Man, like 2 years went by. And keep in mind, I was still working, but just like commercial here, guest star on Snowfall here, was on Shameless for a little bit, did these. And for regular viewers, like who are not actors, they just go, look at Jordan on TV again. Man, he's doing it. And I appreciate my friends for that because they don't know that like the difference of feeling. Because when you're here and you get a guest star and then you're on TV every single week and then you kind of go back, I'm just like, I'm supposed to be going forward.
Welcome to the Funny in Failure podcast, a podcast that celebrates failure and shines the light on the emotional side of comedy with yours truly, Michael Kahan.
Today's guest is pretty cool. He's chill with great flow and banter. Jordan has great insights. I love his balance of depth and humor. I had a great time. This was a real treat. There are so many bangers in this one, and I'm excited to share them with you. Okay, let's get into it. JordanLJones is an actor who stars as Jazz, aka DJ Jazzy Jeff, on the drama series Bel-Air, which is currently streaming on Peacock for season 3. The series holds the title of the highest rating on Peacock and was named one of Entertainment Weekly's biggest entertainment film/TV projects of 2022. Jordan is also a series regular on the Fox TV comedy Rel, based on the life of comedian Lil Rel. His other credits include FX award-winning series Snowfall, CBS's All Rise, and the Netflix Chuck Lorre comedy Disjointed. So as you can imagine, we dive deep and we cover a lot, and we chat about being the Snapchat king, being a PA, wisdom from his mum, cancelled shows and rejection, Bel-Air, moving forward, plus plenty more. Before we get into this epic chat, in case you aren't aware, the videos are now available on YouTube under Michael Kahan. That's Kahan with a K, unless you're listening to it already. I'll still be posting snippets of these chats on Instagram under Funny in Failure, so check them out if you want to stay in the loop for upcoming episodes, or you want to ask a guest a question. I'd also love it if you would share the podcast or share your takeaways from the chat. It really motivates me, helps the podcast grow, and ensures I can lock in amazing guests like this one. And just as a final reminder, the podcast comes out at 3:30 Melbourne, Australian time, with the full video of the podcast to be released the following day. Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's get into it. I hear that you used to be a Snapchat king at college. I'd love to know where you, I can see you smiling. Where did this idea come from? And tell me how you incorporated comedy into it.
Well, like when I was younger, like in high school, I was a class clown. Like I was getting kicked out of classes all the time for just saying it's like stupid shit. We can cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like saying stupid shit. And I think I tried my first commercial. I was 17. My first audition, I booked the commercial. So I knew I had some chops, but still like on some scholarly stuff. I went to U of A my first year and I was like, this is a party school. I'm having a great time. I'm not sacrificing anything, and I still have like a 3.6 GPA. I know I want to be in entertainment, so I transferred to USC. And when I was there, it was just started off kind of like on some just like trying to be funny. I would have these things called like Wake Up Jones, where like I would pretend like I'm asleep, and then like I'd wake up all crazy energy. I had a thing called Toilet Chronicles, where I would like do different characters, but like while I was on the toilet.
I love it.
And it was, and like people were just like, man, you're so funny, bro. You should act. Now I already knew that for sure. But I also like the way I was raised was more on some like, you know, we have to be realistic. And my mom is an actress. And, you know, I just know how tumultuous the journey was for her. She really didn't want me to act, not on some like, oh, I don't support you, but more on some like, you know, trying to be so protective of her son. I don't want you to go through the things I went through and yada, yada, yada. But I just took a stab at it. I was, so that's where the Snapchat thing really started, me just playing around, but then just having the followers I have looking at me. And then from there, when I graduated USC, I graduated in communications, just to have a degree for a backup plan, you know. And yeah, when I did that for like 6, 8 months, and then I just like quit. I was just like, man, I'll put my best foot forward and just try my hardest to, do this acting thing. And then so I got a manager who's still my manager to this day.
Cool.
And went on a few auditions and was getting callbacks, so she kept me. And then, now, the rest is history.
You gave such a nice summary, and there's highs and lows in this story. And I'd love to know about the backup plan, because I used to be an accountant. I gave that up. I'm now doing this and screenwriting as well. And the thought of being an accountant like haunts me. I'm sure it's the same with communications. Did you always know you had the acting bug? The Snapchat gave you the confidence to do it, and you were just looking for a path to kind of get into it? What was the thinking then?
Yeah, it was more like, USC is such a prestigious school. So I knew that like if I go to certain jobs, you show your degree, you have a bachelor's from USC, wherever, like if I just needed a job, I just was confident that I could get one with a degree other than theater. So when I was at USC, some people, because USC has a great film school, a great theater school. John Singleton came out of USC. A lot of people, I think Will Ferrell, maybe, he always speaks at the ceremonies, the commencement ceremonies.
Yeah, we've had a few guests from there.
There are some huge actors who went to the USC Film School, some huge actors who majored in theater at USC. So it's known for that. So people always first, oh, you went to USC, actor, makes sense. But it's like, I didn't take any acting classes.
That's crazy, yeah.
Just for a backup plan, maybe I was like, I feel like I'm a good talker. I'm a good conversationalist, if that's a word. I mean, I was like, and I love sports. So, sports journalism or hosting, just stuff like that, radio stuff. So I was like, yeah. Like, this is cool. It's kind of still in that field. I can still kind of get to entertainment. Not really what I want to do, but if I land on this, cool. So I don't have to just like, okay, acting didn't work out, I can work at some restaurant. I didn't want to do the stereotypical, you're an actor, you're a waiter, because I see a lot of that too, which also respect, because, at the end of the day, you got to make your money. But I just didn't want to do that. It was so like stereotypical. And I was like, I'm at USC, might as well get a degree in something else. So if this doesn't pan out, I can have a good job with my degree.
What were you thinking when you quit the communications? Were you scared? Were you excited? Were you like, what's going to happen? I know you've got a lot of belief, but what kept you, like what allowed you to make that decision?
Well, like when I graduated, I didn't do anything in communication. So it wasn't like I even tried yet, because right when I graduated, I got a job being a PA at Universal for this show called Home and Family. It was like a DIY home and gardening show. And I was just like, if I want to be an actor, you got to start from somewhere. So going to a school with a lot of the kids had a lot of wealthy parents, connections and stuff. I had called a couple people. My friend's dad was a producer on the show, was like, of course, dude, like, come down. Like, you can start whenever. So that's when I did that. So I never even like really stepped foot into communications. It was just like, man, if this doesn't work out and I'm like over it, then I'm going to start, doing some other stuff. And, as of right now, thank God, I'm blessed to not have had to do that so far.
I'm very happy for you. Did you ever put a timeline on it? Well, I want to talk about PA in a sec, because there's crazy situations that have happened from that. But what were you thinking with the timeline? Did you go, if I don't get anything in 2 years or 3 years, or you were just like, I'm going to build my way up? What was the thinking?
Man, it's funny, dude. I swear, I didn't think that way. I had no timeline. I just kind of took everything day by day and kind of moment by moment. I've always kind of been like that, though. I should probably plan more. But
I had a guest. Sorry for interjecting. I had a guest. He's kind of the top of the field in comedy in Australia. He's been on all our TV shows and everything. He said he hasn't planned a day in his life, and that blew my mind. He's the only person I've met like that. He just keeps on getting stuff, doesn't plan. But anyway, continue.
That's great enough. I mean, I kind of agree with that. There's pros and cons to each. Of course, there's pros to planning, duh. But sometimes when you plan so much, my mom has this phrase that I literally go by. My mom says, life is what happens when you're busy making plans. So if you plan everything and then stuff doesn't go that way, now you don't know how to react to things, or you don't know, how to, I plan to go here at a certain time. Oh my God, that's shut down. Oh God, I don't know what to do because I planned it. Simple example, but
I
more,
get you.
what I'm saying, more complex. It is sometimes it's detrimental. But it's, like I said, it's pros and cons. But I think the pros of just kind of not planning. And when I say not planning, I mean, like I knew I had this interview. So like I planned to not be doing anything,
Yeah. It's
when
like,
it comes to like plans like down the road, it's like if I plan to do this down the road, I need to know how to react or be when if that doesn't happen.
go with the
So
flow.
I kind of just keep just certain stuff and like, in my back pocket in a way where it's like, if this doesn't work out, I know that, I know certain connections, maybe I can get this job at this office or whatever. But during the time, I was just like, I'm going to do this job, take it day by day. I was PAing, I was scrubbing trailers. I was, getting yelled at by random celebrities. We don't want to say their names, but, doing lockups and cooking and doing all types of stuff. But I had no real plan until I was kind of over it because it was hard work from the beginning. And then you kind of get, your footing in and, okay, cool. You don't have to be on set every day, like 5:45. I was like, man, this is crazy. And yeah, man, just one day I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. And I kind of told, I forgot her title, but I kind of told who was above me. I was like, yeah, honestly, this is probably going to be my last week. Might even be my last day. She was like, okay, you can always come back. Cause I also had a certain connection to where if I needed to come back, I could.
You could. Yeah.
And then, and also I didn't have a plan. I didn't have like, oh, my rent, cause I just graduated USC. Oh, my rent, I have 3 months rent saved up at least. I didn't care or think. I was just like, okay, my check's coming in and we just gonna figure it out. Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. So when thank God it kind of all so far has worked. I haven't had to struggle too hard. I'm going through my struggles, but and I didn't really have a plan, brother. I didn't. I just was like, I don't want to do this. I want to do that. Let's do that now.
Isn't that wild? You're being polite. You were treated like shit and doing things you didn't want to do as the PA job, and you're a very humble guy. And then to even have that confidence, because one, you could think if you leave the PA job, shit, how I'm not in the industry anymore, what am I going to do? Two, there's rent, there's money, all the stuff you've spoken about. Yeah. But you just kind of had this knowing that you'd be okay. And I find that very interesting. Yeah. What's
me too. I probably shouldn't have thought I was going to be okay, but I ended up being, Yeah. And my mom was against it, obviously. She was like, you just quit? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, the regular mom said, well, I ain't helping you to do. And I was like, I completely understand. Whatever happens. I had certain like little jobs I knew I could do to kind of stay afloat if I really, really, really needed to, even if I didn't want to, So it was like, none of this was the plan. But like, of course, I'm a human being in society and I have to, pay my bills and get going to places that I want to go to. So sometimes you have to, it's not about all the time what you want to do. It's kind of what you have to do. So I kind of was in that mindset in my head. And, I was okay with it being that way. And I'm kind of glad that everything turned out well so far. And
I love that.
Not just that, but just kind of looking back now, because I never really think about the whole journey too much. But it's just like, man, I really was like, man, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna quit my job. like that's kind of crazy with no plan. But I think I just had the resilience and determination to just do the things that I wanted to do. And if I put my best foot forward, I knew I could accomplish. So without saying it too much, that's just what was going on in my head.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And I love that. I love especially the resilience. And, you've obviously quite an intuitive person knowing that you'd be okay in that sense. From the PA side, yes, people treated you like shit. And we'll talk about this in a sec of how you've reversed it, of how you've broken the cycle. Was there anything that it taught you? Like, obviously taught you not how to be. Did it give you any like glimpse into the entertainment world, or was it more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think number one, it taught me like, don't treat people like this, because my mom also says this, maybe less profane, but she was like, at the end of the day, everybody has to pee, bleed, and shit. Everybody. So no matter how much money you got, no matter what you look like or whatever, my mom will be like, just envision them on the toilet. And I'm like, wow, that's funny because they're still like regular human beings, like, right? So, I mean, PA taught me a lot. I mean, it really taught me patience for sure. It taught me like how when I get to a certain point, what I'm not going to do and treat people like. And I think also, like, I'm trying to see, like, what I think what it did also was I low-key just had it. Hold on, because I'm just trying to find it because it was actually brilliant what I was going to say.
Take your time.
There it is.
Yeah.
I found it. Not to take things so personally.
Yes.
And that is number one, because even if it was personal, like it couldn't be, they don't really know you, whatever, but not to have patience, because there's sometimes I'll be like, who the fuck are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? But if you don't take things personally, it's not so much for them. Like it's for you. It's for you to be like, wow, things can happen and I don't have to get startled or shaken. Some people are having bad days. It doesn't make it okay, but you don't have to carry that on if someone else says something to you. You don't have to carry it on for the rest of the day because it don't even really matter. You don't know them. You probably never see them again, whatever. And at the end of the day, too, I saw Samuel L. Jackson said something. I don't want to misquote him, but he said something that's, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, do not step on the toes of those today, for it could be the same ass you have to kiss tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And I just read this like a month ago. I saw an interview and he said that, and it was like, wow, without hearing that, I've known that, where it's like, I've heard stories of people like, yeah, you're an asshole, and then this person becomes big and is a producer and yada, yada. And then now you're like, oh, I need a job. And they're like, what? No.
Exactly.
You were mean to me for no reason. I just walked past you and you did, you know. So I try my best, and not to get too ahead, but fast forward in Bel-Air, Hillary shoots in this place called the Influencer House. And I hadn't shot there before. So we take the van up there, we get out, and it's the same exact set as where I used to PA and clean dishes. And it was the same inside of it.
That's crazy. Exactly
everything. It was incredible. So we're supposed to rehearse, but I just took a second. I didn't cry, but I was like about to. And I was getting really emotional. And I was just like, give me a second, because this is exactly where I remember standing here and seeing all like this, and I was like, I'm gonna be here one day. Like, and I didn't mean it that literally. I didn't know it was gonna be that same exact set. Yeah. But I was like, man, I'm going to be here one day. Like, I'm going to be on the other side of the camera. And I used to be just watching it all about like how cool it was to like everybody have attention and stuff on you. But I was like, I'll just never treat people the way that sometimes I'm being treated. And It's not like the worst thing. It's not like I was being hit or nothing, but it was like, if I tell you don't walk this way because we're doing a lockup and you'll be in the shot, and then you walk anyway, and I can't touch you because you're the makeup lady or whatever. Did you put your hands on me? So I'm like, no, you cannot go. And they'll go by. And then now on the walkie, I'm getting cussed out. And I'm like, what was I supposed to do? And they don't care about why it happened. You are just the one who gets yelled at. So it was also back to that. What's also crazy about that moment is when I was having that moment, there were PAs around. And afterwards, they all talked to me and they're like, man, I just want to say, like, just thank you for just being so down to earth and cool. Because like I have aspirations too. I don't want to be a PA forever. And they kind of look at me to be like, wow, I can actually do it. Like, I look up to this guy. He's very cool. I love Jazz from Bel-Air. On top of that, he was a PA. He was doing exactly what I was doing. Everything's possible. Because, you know, you hear stories, but then when you see it, you're like, oh, man, it really happened. So it was great to kind of, in a way, be a vessel for, you know, certain PAs. And I'm not trying to take credit like that, but I just don't know too many people or actors who are like huge right now who specifically were PAs, and, you know, can share that story. So it's great that, you know, I can be one of the many or one of the few, whatever. But it's just great that I can have that moment in front of some PAs to be like, wow, like I can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it's a great inspiration for everyone, regardless if you're a PA or not, knowing that you can be at one level and, you know, rise to such a high length, or that's the right way of saying it. I think it's brilliant. And also on top of that, and you know, in Hollywood's one way, but we see it in all levels, that sometimes when there's a hierarchy and someone's, you know, inverted commas, a higher position, we can see them treat people like shit, or just do not treat people like, you know, common courtesies with a lot of it. And what you've done, which is really important, and it's not just limited to Hollywood, is that you've kind of broken the cycle, knowing we're all humans. I might have a higher job, but you are still a human. And I think that's so important because you see it so much and people just, I hate it. And I love that you've made it, you know, part of who you are, to just be a nice, normal guy to people. Yes, everyone has bad days, but you actually go out of your way to, you know, speak to people. And that's how you change.
For sure. Even if I don't know everybody's names, I always say what's up to cameraman and Grips and PA. Yo, what's good, G? What's good, G? All good today? You know, I just try to, actually now it's really, I don't really try. It's very natural because at the end of the day, I can't, like, I just have a hard time like walking past people and not saying things.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, it's just weird. Like, right? It's like, it seems purposeful. It's not hard to be like, yo, what's good, everybody? Or just a what's good, everybody type thing, you know?
Yeah.
So my mom always says you get more bees with honey.
I like your mom, and I want to talk about
you know?
it. Yeah.
I didn't think I would quote her this much, but as I got older, I was like, damn, she did used to say this when I was younger, and I used to hate it.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you're younger. You know, there could be a bit of resentment towards the parents, the mum, and then when you mature, then you mature, like, fuck, they're onto something. I can't fully admit it, but they're onto something.
I was like, damn, actually, that's exactly what I'm going through right now. She used to tell me this all the time, and I didn't listen. Now, thank God I remembered it.
Yeah. Isn't it, you know, you're talking about saying hi to everyone. And yes, like, I'm terrible with names, but, you know, just simply saying hi to someone, it changes actually the atmosphere of an environment. When I was an accountant, and there was one particular part, the vast majority were very nice. There'd be these tiny little like laneways. So if you were to cross, you'd literally make contact. You would have to brush aside them. So I was touching 100 people a day unintentionally. And one of the partners would pretend he wouldn't see you, and he kind of look down and put his hand. I'm like, dude, we're like 12 centimeters away.
Yeah,
and I have it all the time. Like, what are you doing? I don't think you realize how like toxic and damaging it is to the brand. It's, yeah.
Man, this is weird. It's like, you also, you know that you look weird doing this. Like, you think you're trying
like, I could see you. Like, I'm
yeah.
touching you. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
There's a lady we had on this podcast. She was number one on the call sheet for the Goldbergs, and she made it part of her mission. I love her, Wendy McClendon Covey, and she makes her rule is like, when you've got a guest star or someone coming, she'll introduce them. She'll say hi. She'll make sure that's part of the atmosphere, because I'm sure, I know that you know this, but like, not all environments, everyone's as friendly, or, you know, it can be very nerve-wracking. As a guest star, it's, you know, as an actor, you just want to focus on yourself, and then you can help others. She goes out of her way, and she's an anomaly, and she will greet everyone and say, you'll be okay. And that's, you know, I would credit part of that to the success of the show, because you're creating an environment. You don't feel like, oh, I'm going to fuck up, they're going to fire me, all of this. You're okay. You want it the team. Yeah.
And I'll do that too, like with certain guest stars that we work with, because it makes sense too. Like, dude, this is my first scene on a show that's not mine. Like, I haven't been here. I don't want to mess up. And so when you think too much, you end up messing up, obviously. Yeah, when you're like, if you go, oh, I don't want to mess up this line, you're going to mess up the line.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm just so used to it by now, and with Bel-Air, you know, we do the same scene 20, 25 times in different coverages and this. So I can tell when like they're kind of nervous. I'll be like, yo, you're good. Trust me. We're going to do this so many times. Like, don't even worry about it. And if you mess up, just keep going. We're going to do it again. I promise. And it kind of brings them some type of, in a way, like safety.
They would bring out the best.
Sure to tell them that, because I don't want you to be over here on eggshells, because then you throwing me off.
True. Because it is. Yeah, that was hilarious. Being like, it doesn't matter how, like, I had an actor who's been doing this for like 30 years, and he's saying he still gets nervous being a guest star because he doesn't know anyone. And I said, is it like going to your girlfriend's like family for dinner for the first time? He's like, it's like going to a random family and you don't have a girlfriend. And so it can be very, very, like, to bring out creativity can be hard. Like, if you're nervous, it might not necessarily come out. So just a relaxing environment, also in life, but just when you're more at ease, you're gonna feel more creative, more confident. You can get it out. So
Yeah.
yeah. I want to go back to your mum, who has been a catalyst for change. You've said a few things, but one thing I find very interesting is that she didn't want you to be an actor. And I know being an actor is very challenging.
Yeah.
Can you speak more to that? Was it like, I don't want you to do this, or was it more, be aware that it's a lot of ups and downs? What was kind of the conversation?
It was like something kind of, it was kind of mixed between those, but it was more like you sure you don't want to do nothing else? Like, it was one of those, like, because I was in high school and, everyone has the sports dream. So I was on the basketball team. I was like, I'm going to the NBA. And I think I'm glad that I realized that I wasn't early, because I saw some kids that were like younger than me who were starting over, what I'm saying, just doing, like, they were really trying to go to the league. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I didn't really beg her, but I asked her about like getting like a manager. Like, people had said like, oh my God, like he'd be good for print and certain stuff like that. So it's always been in her mind, especially because she's an actress. But even though she kind of wanted me to, she didn't want me to at all at the same time. Like, she wanted to because, like, man, he would be good at this. I know my son, he would. Nice. But like, I know that I'm good, and I know that it doesn't just go. It's not like a normal job where, like, if you are trying to be like a bank accountant or whatever job, like 9 to 5, whatever you have, and your resume is perfect. The interview went well, and they said, "Can you start tomorrow?" And you said yes. You probably are going to get that job.
Yep.
But we call this the profession of no. Like, it's great that I'm on Bel-Air and like no one sees the work that you put in behind. Like, you didn't see the hundreds of auditions I didn't get. Also, where it wasn't like I didn't get them because I wasn't good. Like, I've been told to my face, "Oh my God, that was incredible. Hey, come in here. Hey, watch this audition. Wow, can you do it one more time for the director? Absolutely. Wow. Incredible, Jordan. Hey, hope to see you soon." And then you never hear back. So to have, my mom didn't know if I was ready for all that. So for people to be like, no, and be like, am I not good enough? Why? This and that. And, at the end of the day, you still got to want to do what you want to do. So she would never stop me, but she was like, oh, okay, like, you want to act? Okay, that's great. Is there anything else you want to do? Anything? I'm like, nah, I think I want to like be in entertainment. She's like, all right. Like, and, as a supportive mom would, all right. And then took me to all the auditions and helped me a lot through so many things, and even with auditions and stuff.
Nice.
She used to, not as much anymore. I think me and my mom are different actors and actresses. But my mom used to help me a lot, but I think now I've kind of found my way.
That's amazing to hear. And, your mom would have seen the resilience and the self-belief. And she's also giving you advice. If it's for you, it will happen, along those lines. So, because as you said, every single we've had over 250 guests, some huge names that we've seen, the amount of rejections, that's not a lot of people can handle that. Did you just go in based on your mom's advice, or did you really have to feel the rejections, or have you been pretty good?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think that's a great question too. I think that it was just, I wasn't something that I was conscious of, because keep in mind, like we said earlier, when you're younger, you're like really like, what's the word? Like a rebel in a way against your parents. So when she was saying all that, it was more like, I told you all this is what I want to do. Like, shut up. Like, like I'm doing this. See, look at me. Like, first audition. Like, I told you I got this. What's so funny is that I didn't even realize the hard part of acting at first. So I'll give you a timeline. When I first got my manager, I think this was 2017. It was the end of 2017. So it was like November, right? So through October, November, I had my first audition with my manager. I got a call back. Didn't get the role, but I got a call back. So that's always good. Like, basically, you go to the audition and they say, hey, we want you to come audition again because you were good. And we want to put you in front of the actual director so he can see it live. And it's like, okay, that's what you want, right? You get a call back, you're in the right spot. Yep. Didn't get that, but ended up doing a couple like guest stars. I did Wisdom of the Crowd. I did Disjointed. I did NCIS. And then by February, so November, December, January, 4 months of acting professionally, I booked a series regular role on the Rel show.
Yeah.
So that's with Sinbad. That's with Lil Rel Howery. That's with comedian Jess Hilarious. And, I'm the only green one on there. Like, this is my first team, but like, this is the only life I live. So I'm like, this is how it's going to go forever. So like, I'm like, wow, I'm in the right field. So I do one season. It gets canceled after one season. It's TV, it's Hollywood. And I'm like, oh, so like, I'm about to be on the show like the next month. Like, I'm not really tripping. Man, like 2 years went by. And keep in mind, I was still working, but just like commercial here, guest star on Snowfall here, was on Shameless for a little bit, did these. And for regular viewers, like who are not actors, they just go, look at Jordan on TV again. Man, he's doing it. And I appreciate my friends for that because they don't know that like the difference of feeling. Because when you're here and you get a guest star and then you're on TV every single week and then you kind of go back, I'm just like, I'm supposed to be going forward. So the way that I was very happy and blessed for these opportunities and that was cool. But it wasn't the same feeling as when I first got it. And I was like, man, I'm on TV. I can't believe I got that role. And now it's just like, all right, like this is cool. You know what I'm saying? It kind of keeps me afloat and, I can pay my bills with this and thank God I'm booking, stuff like that.
Wild.
I'm going back to by the way, this has a point.
No. I love this. Keep
okay,
going.
Cool. So years are going by and I never wanted to quit ever. I never wanted to quit acting. Of course you're a human being. And so you have those just intrusive thoughts of just like, man, I ain't booked anything in a minute. And am I good enough? I know I'm good enough. I've already been on TV as a series regular, but maybe, should I do something else? Nah, I shouldn't. Should I? So those things were, thoughts in my head, but it never was like, you know what? I'm actually done. I just enjoy it too much. Even just auditioning, getting to a character, doing these things. So fast forward 2 years go by and I booked Bel-Air. Woo, yeah. But the craziest thing about booking Bel-Air, and I wouldn't change this for the world. I think I'm on such an iconic show, the original. Yep. And I think we have a chance to be iconic as well, just because we switched it so much.
Agreed.
But interestingly enough, during that 2 years, I was regretful sometimes because when I did the Rel show, I had a choice. I was up for the Rel show, and I also auditioned for another show called The Neighborhood, right? And they wanted me on the show. I can't remember exactly which character, but definitely on the show. And it was a point where I had to choose between the show, and not for any specific reason. Actually, it probably was. I think
like
that
scheduling.
I think it wasn't scheduling. I wasn't doing anything. But I think it was like, I can't be at both. But I think it was more, I think with the Rel show, I had the opportunity to be on the billboard, and that was cool. I think for The Neighborhood, I wouldn't. Regardless, I ended up picking the Rel show. Really loved the director of The Neighborhood. Actually gave him a call to tell him personally, hey, man, I went with this other show, but I just want to say love, best of luck, all that, nice. Right? So Rel goes on for a season. This other show's still on to this day, right? So during the 2 years, when our show's canceled, I'm starting to feel like, man, that's crazy. I start thinking, dang, I could have picked another show and I'd still be working right now. And I have all these thoughts and I have to worry about so many things. And, oh my God, did I make a mistake? Did I make the wrong decision? And it kind of felt like that because you're you and you're in your head and that's all you have to live with. You have to sleep with yourself at night. And like I said, fast forward, I am on Bel-Air, and I don't know if you know this about television, but it's very rare that you are a series regular on one TV show and can be a series regular on another TV show.
Yeah.
Therefore, I would not, if I was on the other show, I would have never even got the audition for Bel-Air. I wouldn't be allowed to. So no chance that I would have ever been Jazz. And I wouldn't trade Jazz for the world. So going back to your point of what's for you is for you, and no one can take it away. That's one of those examples that I have where I'm like, damn, I'm not just saying it. That's real. Because for 2 years, I was thinking I kind of made a mistake. And not really. I was happy and grateful for all the things. But just as a human being, when I was like, man, I did have a choice. It's not like it's like, oh, if I audition for that. It was like, no, they wanted me to be a part of that. And it was great after getting Bel-Air and then thinking about it going, wow, that show is still on. And if that show is still on, that means that when Bel-Air came out, auditions for Jazz, I wouldn't even be allowed to audition because I wouldn't have got it. Like, there's no way.
That is a wild story. I love
Right?
hearing this, especially because you think, you're human. Oh, I made a mistake, or there's the money involved, the team, it could have been fun. This was only on for one season. Now you've got the outlook to realize I was still on for a season. And
Yeah,
then you get this life-changing role, iconic show. I love
yeah,
that you're able to look back at that, because a lot of people might just be like, I didn't get it. And they wouldn't have the foresight, the holistic thinking that you have.
yeah,
And it makes you appreciate the journey more. Sometimes, we want to get the answers like that, but sometimes it can take 7 years, 2 years,
yeah.
5 years. You picked it up pretty
Man,
quickly. Yeah.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, my mom always says this too. I'm a believer in God. If you want to say universe, that's fine, but I say God. But it's like God might not be on your time, but He's always on time. And if that's the universe too, the universe might not be on your time, but it's going to be on time. And
Yeah.
that's what's so great, because I wouldn't change my whole situation for the world, but for like a 2-year period, there were things in my head was like, man, if I did this, or maybe if I did that, or if I, just human thinking. It wasn't anything about quitting or like feeling sad for myself or like depression. It wasn't like that, but it was just like, damn, I'm seeing commercials for a show that like I feel like, I could have been on, and it's still going on right now, and I wouldn't have to worry about some of the things that I'm worrying about. And now it's like, oh, I'm so glad I went through all that, because I love portraying jazz, man.
This is why I love doing the podcast, is hearing stories like that. And also shows that regardless of what one's going through life, often time can just be a healer.
Yeah,
Obviously we still need to like do work and move forward and all of that stuff, but it's
yeah,
so beautiful to hear. And also there's a hard realization, and I think it's really important that you bring it up. You're series regular on a show. Most people will kill for it. But then when you
uh-huh,
lose that, it's so hard because you've got it to a certain place. And
uh-huh.
this isn't a linear industry. It's not you do this and then you do this, unless if you're Brad Pitt. And
Nah.
yeah.
Unless you do that and then get to that point, and then now you're doing it linear.
Yeah, but
Because it's like
still
at first, it's
very
still,
few
yeah,
people.
for
Yeah, yeah,
sure, for sure. You're Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah,
yeah.
you're good.
He's not going to be an extra on a TV show.
Yeah, or have to audition for anything.
Yeah.
He just sits around waiting on calls. Like, you want me to be in this movie? Well, you want me to be in this movie? Okay, now I have to choose which movie.
Yeah. How many Oscars do you want? Okay, fine, I'll do that one.
Yeah, okay, fine.
With like, for example, we had I haven't had the main cast of Seinfeld, but I've had like main series regulars, and they were saying, some of them, where they're on this iconic. They were saying it was quite a hard realization. They're on the biggest show of all time, and so many eyeballs, and then sometimes the career, they might not work as much, and the comparison game became challenging at times, because
Yeah,
you think if you're going to do that, you're going to be the movie star, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, but it doesn't always work out like that. And with a bit of time, and it's similar to your outlook, where they're like, that was a different show, that was a different beast, I'm going to appreciate it for where it is. And
yeah,
you've also spoken about comparison in your other interviews, where it's so easy to compare to a person who looks like me, or you think you should be this person, and you realize it's
yeah,
not actually healthy. And you have a quote, run your own race. So I'd love to know
yeah.
a bit more about how you came
Yeah,
to
for
that
sure.
conclusion.
I was about to say, to your point too, and like they're talking about that. Imagine now too with social media, where like you don't have to just think about it. You just go on your phone and just be constantly reminded about all these people. And so, really, Jimmy Ivy really said this quote, but I just really live by it now. And it's really just run your own race. And his example that he uses is that when Kentucky Derby or whatever horse races, horses have blinders on their on the side, so they don't look to the right or left, and they do that because if they do, they might miss a step, and that's when the horse falls or whatever, because you weren't focused on the goal. And I have certain people, even me, where there were people that at a certain time, before I went by this,
Of course.
people at a certain time where like I just was like, man, I auditioned for that role, I didn't get it. You can have comparisons like, man, I'm better than that and him, and like, man, I would have been better, and all type of stuff. But it's like that's their journey. Like those were the doors that were for them.
Yep.
Like if it doesn't open, it's not your door. you know? So that wasn't for me. I didn't get that at the time. Like that is for them. And that's a part of their journey. They could do this one thing and then never do anything forever. And you were so worried about being right there and having their journey when you could have took 5 years, but then now you're the biggest movie star of all time. Right. So you could have been for 5 years like, man, like this is bullshit, yada, yada. But that wasn't your journey. So you focused on somebody else's stuff and now you're behind because you're worried about somebody else. So you're not going as hard as you possibly can or doing everything that you need to be doing. Because you're worried about some guy who got a role or somebody your age who you feel like you're better than. And comparison also is just the thief of joy. Like, we know that. It's just like, man, like we're all different people. And if this person is doing that, that's great for them. It's great for them. It wasn't for you.
I agree. And it's also really important, which is exactly what you're saying, is we're all unique. Everyone has a completely different journey, and that's wonderful. You can learn from people of what to do and what not to do. But also by you being authentic and unique, by you embracing your talents, that's also going to lead to you being the best actor. And there's only one Jazz now, and that's you. And there's a reason you got it, because you embrace your authenticity. If you tried to copy the other guy, you wouldn't have got it.
I wouldn't have gotten it at all. I get asked that too all the time. It's like, yo, did DJ Jazzy just say something to you? Or like, did you have to hone into? And I'm like, number one, he told me to keep doing what I was doing.
Nice.
And it makes it easier when he says that, but also what makes it easier to do that is like the writing. Like the shows are so different. We have the same characters, we have the same relationships, but these are not the same people. Like what DJ Jazzy Jeff says, not all the time. I saw it once in the radio show that he was doing. It's not a radio show or a podcast, I forgot. He was just talking about like, man, it's crazy because in the original, like I didn't get Hillary, like I do. And so like he thought that was cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that I could even really tap in to. It was a sitcom back then. This is a drama. Just the genre is different. So people always ask me like, when you gonna get thrown out the house? Like the iconic Jazz get thrown out. But it's like, it has to make sense. We're not just throwing me out the house. Like, I don't know if did you watch Fresh Prince like that growing up?
I loved it. It was one of my favorite shows. Yeah.
Okay, bet. Just when everyone's just waiting on me to get thrown because that's iconic. But I'm like, that's his staple. Like he can have it. It's cool. I'd be cool with it. That would be a good pay homage type thing. But it has to make sense to pay homage. So like, in the theme song, it's like I got in one little fight and my mom got scared. She said, and then in the show, our show, when Will first walks into the mansion and Aunt Viv grabs him, she's like, are you okay, baby? Your mom told me everything. And he was like, yeah, like I got one little fight. My mom got scared. Like it made it just like a sentence.
Yes. So honoring, but still being unique.
Honoring, like if you catch it, little Easter eggs. Like, I don't know if you remember in the theme song where like in the plane that he's riding, he said he had orange juice with him. Right? And so with a glass of OJ, drinking orange juice out of a champagne glass. But so we don't say that, but on his flight back, he's crying in his flight back. But on his tray table, it's orange juice out of a champagne glass. So if you know type, like Carlton's not doing the Carlton. We have to find a moment for that. There was a part where like Carlton says, I forgot what episode, but he was like, oh snap, this is my favorite dance. And he shows a TikTok and someone's doing the Carlton dance. So like, it's not like, hey, do exactly what he did. Like it's hard to actually hone into those original characters because our plots and the theme and the genre are so different. Even if I was watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I'd be like, I can't really do none of this. Cause some of the times I'll even make jokes and they'll keep the joke or whatever, but depending on the scene, they might not want me to be funny right there. So I'm like, okay, we'll do it the regular way.
Oh, nice acting chops.
And then I'll wait and see when the episode comes out, which take they use. Sometimes they use the funny take, sometimes they use a more straightforward take. But yeah, it's like I can't even really be Jazz from the original, because even though it's DJ Jazzy Jeff, he went by Jazz in the original. But it's like I can't even really do that and like study him or anything. So him telling me, "Yo, like you're doing your thing, man, and you're great. Keep doing what you're doing." I was like, "Oh, no one has to tell me anything anymore. Like I'm good."
And I want to hear about the audition process because it's wild, the journey there and how you didn't think you'd get it.
Mhm.
But also,
Mhm.
it's a huge credit to you because naturally, and I know you watched the show as well.
Mhm.
Most people will be like, I'm just going to try and hone in on this character. But for you to still have that foresight, I know you have the strong realization now that it
Mhm.
wouldn't have worked, but it could be so easy to, copy a character and maybe just change one thing because you
Yeah.
think you have to get into the head of the casting director. But I like how you were just you. You realized that
Yeah.
was how you're going to succeed. I'm
Yeah.
sure half the auditions that they saw was just like a replicas
Trying
with
to
different words and
replicate that. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. For sure. Yeah, it's crazy. One day I'm gonna be like, can I see some of them auditions? They probably don't have them still, but I would just love to see.
Yeah.
I love being on the other side and then getting to ask the questions as you don't have if you're going to an audition because I don't get to talk to the director. I don't get to talk to see like what made you like this person or just small little things. Um, yeah, that would be great. I wonder how other people played it. The person I taped with. Um, my dog Jeremy and Michael, they were taping people before me. And so
Yeah.
they were like, yo, like there was this rapping, this rapper, and he was going out for jazz as well. And he actually did pretty good, yada yada. And then so I'm like, okay, cool. At the time, keep in mind, I don't have the role, so I wasn't like protective or anything. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because when I was done with the audition, they have all this professional equipment and like make me look so good and have a little TV. So afterwards, I can play my audition, just plug it up real quick. And they play the audition. I'm watching it. Of course, like I watch it for little stuff I could have done better, stuff that no one notices. And they stood there and they said, dude, if you're not Jazz, I don't know who else is. And inside my heart, number one, it's always like, thank you. But like, you guys are my friends and you're supporting me. But like, you're supposed to say this.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
part of me was like, thank you guys. But like, I'm not going to really internalize it because we don't have any choice in this. Like,
Yeah.
we just going. So I'm just like, thank you guys, but thank you guys for being nice and so supportive as always. But like, I could easily like not get this, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is how I audition is when I audition, I throw it away after like the paper and everything, throw it away. I don't think about it, nothing,
Nice.
because what's the point of over the years knowing, that this is the
Business.
occupation of no. It's like, why would I sit here and dwell on it now? If I get callbacks and then like now you're testing and it's like between you and 3 people, now you can get emotional. But after the first audition, I throw the paper away. Actually, I probably shouldn't do this, but there's been a time where like I went and auditioned in the room. It was like 6 people, like directors, and I finished the audition. And before I even hit the door, I threw it out in the trash can like the paper. I don't know if that was disrespectful or not. It is what it is. It happened. I realized it when I got to the car, and I was like, I threw that out in front of them. But that's just, it wasn't this, it was just how I
Yeah,
was
your
trained. I
mindset.
was just
Yeah.
like, and thank you guys. Okay, I'm done. Like, I don't even want to think about this shit no more. Because why? Why kill yourself over something you can't control?
I agree.
So I forgot. Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's actually really healthy because, God knows how, like, so many people have so many auditions, and to really put your time and energy. And I don't think you realize how good you are with your energy. Even if you've just got 1 or 2 auditions in that period, to like worry about it. Could I, obviously you still reflect, but to let it go mentally. And then it also makes you, especially with your like gratitude outlook, it allows you to appreciate it if you were to go to the next stage. But I think that's healthy. You learn from it and go, goodbye.
Yeah. And once again, forgot about the audition. At this time, out now, I went to Atlanta to visit some homies. So I'm in Atlanta going up, partying. And then I wake up the next morning and then my manager hits me. He's like, yo, you have a Zoom callback with Bel-Air. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is crazy. So right then I booked my flight. And I booked my flight and I left that day because it was the next day in the morning. So I wanted to I could have easily probably like Zoomed from the hotel. But I don't know. Sometimes, with a callback, I just wanted to make sure everything was cool. So I just went back to the house, used my laptop. I didn't have
I get it.
Could have borrowed some stuff, but why not?
Yep.
So it was crazy because I do the audition on Zoom and it's with Jabari, who plays Will, and Morgan Cooper, who's the showrunner / creator. Great. Love them to death. And it was just like this, like me and you. And I'm doing the audition. It was 2 scenes. So I do the first scene and they're like, okay, great job. Okay, next scene. And right then I go, oh yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get the role. So I do the second scene.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, great job, Jordan. Thank you so much. Take care. I'm like, thank you guys so much for having me. Right. Hang up the Zoom, call my mom immediately. Yo, what's up, son? Yo, I didn't get it. She was like, what? Did you messed up? Like, what did you cuss them out? And nah, mom, I didn't get it. She's like, why? I'm like, I could just tell I didn't get it just because like they didn't ask me any questions or anything, because in my first series regular, they actually had me do the audition like 6-7 times, like in the chemistry read. So I had an audition, then I had a callback, then I had a chemistry read. Basically, a chemistry read is the main character who's already cast, Lil Rel. You're gonna do the scene with him in front of us to see if y'all, get it together. So I was like so already nervous.
Yeah.
And I get in there and I'm doing the scene. So like, okay, that was good. Okay, can you do it this way? Then I do it that way. Okay, now change this. Okay, I changed it. Okay, do it that way. Okay, I changed it. Then they asked me to do this 4, 5, 6 times where I'm like, clearly I didn't get it right. If you ask me to do it another way. Yeah. I end up booking the role. I start talking to the director and he was like, no, we just wanted to see if you could take direction easily because this is sitcom, So it's like if I have you really come up to you in between scenes, yo, can you change this part right there? Boom, I got the trust that you can do that. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. Every director does that. Now I know how to direct, even though I don't. So when I did Bel-Air, going back to Bel-Air, it was like, oh, he didn't ask me shit. I'm done. Because sometimes they'll say, okay, go to the next thing because they kind of know you're not it. So let's get to the next audition.
Yeah. That would push you aside. Like, good
we don't
job.
Want to be rude and be like, we don't want to be rude. Like, you're not it. Thank you. Like, they're not going to do that. So it's like, okay, do that scene. Okay, do that scene. Okay, thank you so much. Bye. Okay, got it. So that's what I thought was going on with me. It was like, probably wasn't better than whoever else was in the callback / chemistry read. And so fast forward, I end up getting the role. And it was so crazy because my agent called me and he just started off by saying, in West Philadelphia, born and raised. And I was like, shut up. And he was like, dude, you got it. And I just started crying, like, called my mom. It was crazy. It was crazy. And basically, after we shot the first scenes, like a week or 2 after, I'm talking to Morgan. He was like, all right, so how'd you guys feel like when you got the role? I was like, I didn't fucking feel like I got it. Like, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? I thought I didn't. And I explained to him everything I explained to you. And he was like, dude, when you first came on screen and started speaking, we knew it was you. So it was just taking up time. And I was like, wow.
Taking up time. What the hell?
Because we have all these things to do. Yeah. And like, we have to get Jazz. Okay, we got Jazz. All right, now we got to focus. Like, we already knew it was you.
How funny is that? You're putting all this time and energy once you know you got the call back. You're stressing. You're being a normal human. What can you do? And for them, okay, yes, you've got it. Okay, let's move on. You've got
it. But they don't say that. They're just like, okay, they're probably noting or texting each other. Like, yeah, this is our Jazz. Okay, now next we need to find our Lisa or whatever. And so they're still in an audition, but maybe they're not even listening because they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Okay. Oh, great job. Okay, cool. All right, we got that done. All right, cool. Now we got him. Okay. And I'm freaking out for 4 days. 4 days. 4 days. They called me later that night because I did the audition midday, like in the morning or something, like 11. Yep. And then maybe like 4 or 5, they said, hey, you're testing, which means it's between you and like maybe 1 or 2 people, or maybe it's just you. And we just want to make, because they do a thing called testing, which is screen test. Like, how do you look on screen though? And so it's like, it could have just been me. It could have been 3, 4, 5 guys. It could have been between me and somebody else. You don't know. And that's why this profession is so BS. Because it's like, you just don't know anything. You just sit there and just wait and pray. And so it was like, that was like on a Thursday. They didn't tell me Friday. I had Saturday and Sunday because no one's working on the weekends. And then Monday was a Jewish holiday, I believe. So I didn't even find out till Tuesday. Oh. And I'm like with the homies. I'm at the club Saturday. And I'm just like this. And they're like, you good? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, brother. I'm good. But really just, once you get that far, there's two me's. The first me is first audition. You do that, you throw it away. Just like I did with Bel-Air. I was like, cool. Yeah. And then once you get the callback, okay, I'll do the callback. That's cool. Okay, now you're doing the chemistry read. They really like you. So if you really like me, now there goes the energy and the emotion. Because at first, I don't care if you like me or not. Like, you're going to see 100 other people today. You might forget, whatever. I don't really care.
More real.
Now it becomes more real as the process goes further. So then now I'm freaking out now because I'm testing. It's between me and someone else. And I'm just like, oh my God, like y'all not gonna tell me on Friday. Friday goes by, I got nothing. Because part of it could be because they picked somebody else. So I'm thinking, did they pick someone else yet? Have they just not called? Am I it? It's just all these. The fear of the unknown is such a serious concept, dude. And when I say I was literally going through it for 4 days, and then Tuesday my agent called and just started singing the song, and I was like,
Beautiful.
I couldn't believe it.
What a beautiful story. And it also shows how this industry can be a bit of a mindfuck. More guests than not have spoken about, can be in a similar position. You could be the best actor, but you might be too small. Your eyes might be blue. Yeah, I can see you nodding. Like just things that are so outside of your control, but you can be a brilliant, go on.
Dude, everything you're saying, dude. There's been times because I know certain casting directors. I know sometimes she was perfect. She just looks too much like this other girl we cast for the other girl in episode 2. She looked too much, and we don't want to confuse.
Yeah.
Yes. Or we casted the girlfriend already. We wanted a same race couple, and we were going with black at first, but then this one girl blew us away, so we changed all of that. And then boom, and then so now you are great, but it's not going to fit on screen or whatever they're going for. It's not going to fit that.
Yeah.
There's been times it happened in a good way though. When I got NCIS was crazy because NCIS, I went out for a role and the character breakdown was just describing like a white guy. It was like, basically with NCIS, it was like, dude, he's like a rock guy. Like he was in an old rock band, stoner vibes, like kind of long stoner hippie vibes. His favorite band is Phish, Phish. Now I didn't know what that was. I Google it and I'm like, oh, this is like a white rock band. Like I see what they're going for this character. I'm talking to my manager and stuff. I'm like, they're not like, this is not for me. Like, why'd you ever send me this? And they were like, dude, just go in front of the director, yada, yada. So this role, and then I'm going to tell you about the rookie too. With this role, yeah, because the NCIS and the rookie kind of similar show, but this is NCIS. And so clearly I can't act, be white or have long hair or stoner and like pretend to like Phish. I'm just like, so I'm going to go in here and do kind of what I want to do.
Nice.
Because I have nothing to lose. I'm going to know the lines and stuff, but I'm going to portray the character how I want because I can't even get to that. I can't. That's not who I am. Like, It's unbelievable. No matter how hard I try, it'd be like, So I go in there and I kind of just do it in like this, my way, like the Jordan way. And I do it and keep in mind, like, not that I don't care, but just like, I already know that I'm not getting it in my head. So I'm going to go in here and kind of have fun. I'm going to go in here and have fun and, get in front of the directors. And they might be like, that kid's funny. We'll have him for another role at another point if I do another project.
Oh, smart. Yeah.
Kill it, because my manager's making me do it anyway. So it's like me going here and kind of do it my own way. The manager was like, wait. I mean, the director was like, yeah, wait. Do it one more time. They were like, do it one more time. And I sat there and I did it again one more time. And dude, the next day my manager called me like, you got that.
Oh, wow.
Like, dude, that is so. And that was the day where I started really trusting my manager because sometimes we go back and forth on like what auditions I should take. And I don't want to do this. But when she really is adamant about me doing it, because sometimes she'll be like, I just want you to go in front of the director. I can't ever combat her like that anymore because it's worked out for me twice. The second time when I was on The Rookie, the night before I wasn't on the Rel show, but it was still like being played. And then Rel had a stand-up. Bless you, brother.
Thanks.
Rel had a stand-up that he had on HBO. So he kind of had a premiere. And there was no service. You good? There was no service. And so I didn't get the audition. And I get out of this premiere thing about 11:30 at night. And I like kind of been drinking and stuff like that, and just loose because I didn't know how to audition. So we all were there and we're open bar enjoying this stand-up comedy. And my manager, I get all these messages, yo, I know you're at the thing, but we have audition for you at 8 a.m. for this. And I'm like, there's no way I can go home. I'm a little, as Will Smith would say, I've been tasting a little bit. I've been tasting. And so with that being, I'm just like, dude, I don't even know if I want to go home and like try to just like get through it and learn all these lines. It's already midnight. I'm not getting home till 12:30.
Yeah.
This is at 8 in the morning. I don't think I'm going to be good. I don't want to go up there and embarrass myself. All the things are pointing towards no. My manager goes, I just want you to go in front of this director. If you have to, just read it cold read, where you just auditioning with the paper. Boom. So I'm like, all right, God, fuck it. So the next morning I wake up, like, just like, just sluggish and just like, and so I go to the spot, the audition place, and I see one of my homies who was at the same event I was at the night before, but he had got the audition before, so he was already prepared. He didn't get it the same time. He already knew he had an audition. Cool. Yeah. He probably didn't go that hard. And so I see him, and I'm like, man, I'm going through it right now. He's like, man, I know. Like, I get it. And so I'm literally gassing his head. And I'm like, bro, go in there and kill it. I said, bro, I don't even know. The lines are nothing. My manager really just wants me to go in here just to show face for the director. But, like, bro, rooting for you, kill it. You got this.
Nice.
I'm really honestly, like, I'm on the phone, and like, not that I'm not dedicated or anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
just like, if I know and you tell me to just go cold read it and I didn't have any time to really prepare, then fine. I'm just gonna do what she said. I'm not even tripping. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
And so I go in the room, and I guess just how I played it, like cold read though, like paper in front of face. And I was like, yeah, man, NATO, yada, I'm doing all this, and still kind of acting, but I don't know the words, so I got to look down and then look at the words, and I'm thinking it's over. And the casting director was like, do me a favor. Go outside and try to learn it for like 5 minutes and come back. And I was like, okay. Wow. So I go outside, and I'm like trying to get as much as I can. Still not off book, meaning like I still don't know all the lines. But I'm like, okay, I kind of got this. I'll probably have to look at this. It's a little longer, but cool. I go back in there and do the audition again. Next day, got the role, dude.
That is wild.
Back to the point of what's for you is for you. It don't matter if you're not even prepared. Like, it's, hey, this was supposed to be your role. Before they even wrote the role, the universe was like, you go play this character.
They gave it to you. You know what springs to mind? That's a crazy story. I don't know if you know Gary Anthony Williams. He's like an improv legend, was on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Malcolm in the Middle and some other stuff. Anyway.
White guy?
Black guy.
Gary
Anthony
Whose Line
Williams.
Is It Anyway? Not Wayne Brady, duh.
He would be on it a lot. He wasn't one of the main casts, but he's been on it heaps.
What's his name again? I'm sorry, I gotta look
Gary. Yeah. He's a unbelievable.
Because I know him.
Gary Anthony Williams. He does a lot of improv as well and heaps of acting.
Oh, he's Uncle Ruckus on the Boondocks.
Yeah, I should have said that. Yeah. So
I love Gary. He was in Undercover. Okay, man. Yes, I know exactly who that is.
He was on a little while ago at a sort of similar story to you. This is when he was a bit younger and he was, his words, a lot larger. He's lost a lot of weight. And his agent or manager said, I need you to audition for this role. I forget the reason, if they wanted him to be seen or what it was. But I assume he's in his 20s or his 30s. It was for a teenage white Southern girl. And he's obviously looks the exact opposite. And he got the role. He went
older black male.
A teenage white Southern girl. And his agent or whoever thought he'd actually be really good for the role. He auditioned for it. Can you imagine this man? He's the exact opposite look to what they were wanting. And they ended up changing the role, giving it to him when he performed it. So it goes back to what you're saying. But can you think of this teenage white Southern girl you assume like quite like small and petite, and then it just blew my mind. Yeah. And
then you got Gary, who also like, if you watch the Boondocks, is the most vulgar, like racist character. Yeah. And he's racist against black people, and he's black. It's a funny concept.
Yeah.
But he's like this black old, just angry, grumpy guy with no teeth and looks crazy and just talks trash about black people. And he's the blackest guy of all time. It's really funny. The concept is really funny. But that and then teenage white girl.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those stories I think about a lot. It's just, but as you said, if it's for you, it's for you. You can still blows by bite. I reckon what we're going to do to wrap up the podcast is to do a rapid fire segment, if you're ready to rumble into it. First rapid fire question. We may have answered some of these. What's your favorite thing to do when you're not working?
Play basketball.
And what position do you play?
Point guard, shooting guard.
All of it. And
also video games, by the way. That's really
I've heard you're very good. And you
Oh,
run
yeah,
plays on 2K. Yeah.
yeah. I'm in every mode, man. I'm about to start twitching too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we spoke about this off air. I asked Jordan or LeBron, and your answer was who and
Kobe.
why? And why?
Kobe, because Kobe was the epitome of, in a way, like the people's champ. With Jordan and LeBron, it takes nothing from them. They were just kind of blessed, God given in a way.
Yeah,
LeBron was being the
supreme
chosen
talent.
one. 16, run faster, jump higher. Great. First of all, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Michael Jordan, same, came in and just was dominating. Kobe was a little different. I think that's why I relate, because you can see his story. You can see him airballing four threes in the playoffs to lose to Utah, and the commentators and everybody is writing him off and like, this kid's terrible. And the fact that he had the work ethic to overcome that moment and then overcome everything else and be one of the best players of all time puts him ahead. I don't know if you ever seen the cartoon Hercules.
Yes.
But so Kobe is Hercules and Michael Jordan is Zeus. The movie is about Hercules. Zeus is the best god of all time. But Kobe has to prove himself. And at the end of the movie, when he goes to the top and joins the gods, he's the main guy now. He's like, son, hand it over. And he was part mortal. So he had to go through stuff just like Kobe. Like Kobe had to work hard. I'm not saying Bron also works tremendously hard, same with Michael Jordan. But on top of them already being better than most without, like when they first came into the league. Bron first game, he had 20-something. Kobe first game, he's getting like 2-4 points, whatever. He didn't let anything stop him determination-wise. And also going up in LA. And yeah, the mama mentality that people go by today. And just, he didn't have the biggest hands. He wasn't the tallest guy. He didn't have as much bounce as Michael Jordan, but still played like Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Still won 5 championships, scored 81 in a game, went through a week where he averaged 50. Like, it was just Kobe was just so resilient. And as a regular human being, because sometimes we look at these athletes like they're different than us. And so you can't really relate. I can't relate to LeBron. I know LeBron is one of the best. All around, LeBron is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
For me, that's not my GOAT. Kobe is my GOAT just because of what I experienced with him. But we also have this thing where we don't really rank them anymore. We go like, Kobe's the best basketball player of all time. And LeBron James is also the best basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan is, and Steph Curry, and
Kevin
everybody.
Durant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if we're playing pickup and I pick Kobe first and you pick LeBron first and he picks Magic Johnson, it's not like an automatic who's going to win the championship.
Yeah.
They are all the best player of all time in their own way.
Agreed.
So it's like, there's so many basketball players who played. So it's like, even if I'm number 3 of all time, there's been millions of basketball players, and I'm the third. I'm pretty much the first.
Yeah, I like that. And we were speaking off air with Matthew Della De Nova, if I'm saying that right. Australians love him because he's not the most skilled player, but he worked hard. He did very well in the final series with LeBron. And as you said, you resonate with Kobe because of the work ethic. It makes it seem like you can be an NBA player or you can achieve your other goal because of the work and dedication put in.
Yes.
I love it. Sure. You brought up a few, but we'll see what springs to mind. Do you have a philosophy on life you follow?
This crazy rapid fire. You got me thinking.
They're never rapid. I should just call them fire.
Yeah, just 2 questions.
Yeah.
A philosophy. What's crazy? I do have it, but I have to read it, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Because this resonates with me so hard.
Of course. I love it.
Okay, I got it right here. I have like certain quotes that I write down.
Nice. I love that.
This one has a check mark by it. And it says, the secret to happiness is letting every situation just be what it is instead of what you think it should be. And then you just make the best of it.
How did you discover it? Was there a situation?
Well, it just was so, I think it was like a caption under some like motivational thing I was looking at. But, there's so many times that we're not happy based upon things that have happened that you kind of can't control. So if you're sad because, I made this decision and this thing happened, yeah, you can dwell on it for a week, a month, 2 years, whatever you want to do. But it's not going to change anything. and life still goes on. And obviously, this is easier said than done, but this is something that I kind of just want to work on, where it's like this situation, basically like this: glass half empty, glass half full.
Yeah.
It's the same concept. It's the same concept.
And
Where it's like,
there you go.
It's like you can take a loss as a lesson, or you can cry about how you lost. Or you can be like, thank you for that loss, because number one, it could have been worse than that. And now I know what not to do. So now years down the line, now I'm kind of more mature than whoever didn't go through that situation already. And I know how to handle it. So thank God I went through that, because now I don't have to. I'm seeing somebody else go through that. And I'm like, damn, I wish you would have talked to me. I could have told you. But yeah, and it's like, that's the key to being happy. Okay, this girl doesn't like you anymore, or whatever the case may be. You can just dwell about all the things you could have done differently to make her like you. Or you can be like, she don't like me. Thank you, God, because she wasn't for me. Thank you for removing her. Now I can focus on other things.
Agreed.
You know?
I won't comment on them. This will be the last one, because otherwise I'll make them not rapid. But it seems it's like a practice you do. It's a way of life. It's a mentality to create. It's not always easy, but it's something you focus on and you correct yourself and move forward. I love it. It's contagious mindset. I heard about this in other interviews, but now seeing you up close, like I actually see it, but I'll answer the question first. I think there's two people at least, but who do you get most mistaken for?
There's two people. Tupac, for sure. And then sometimes I get Desi Banks.
Oh.
Desi Banks. Yeah, dude. Do you see it? Because you look at me now.
I see Killmonger is Michael B. Jordan. Is that his name?
No way.
I do. I see Tupac, and then on different angles, I see him. I thought that was the second person.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never gotten that.
Oh, really? I thought that. Oh, okay. I'm losing the plot. Tupac is like, you're gonna play him in the next biopic. That's 100% gonna happen.
I hope so. It's funny because the guy who played him, his name is Demetrius Shipp Jr. He did a movie called All Eyes on Me, good Tupac rendition, but he looks like Tupac. So I met him at this event, and literally our whole entire conversation was this: "Yo, what's up, G?" And I said, "Hey, man, nice to finally meet you." And he goes, "You look like Tupac to me." I say, nah. You look like Tupac. And he goes, "Nah, bro, for real, you look like Tupac." And we dabbed each other, laughed, and that was our conversation.
Oh, that's amazing. 5 hours later, you then left and said goodbye. You went back and forth. What are you most proud of?
You know what? I'm most proud of making my mom proud, and honestly, just because I'm most proud of making my mother proud. My mom was a single mother, and just for her to kind of get that validation and everything she sacrificed and things worked out, because the same exact thing where it's like, it's not always on your time, but it's on time. My mom sacrificed her acting career to put me through school because of just the journey that acting is. You can't just support a kid. You do one role and then you might not get nothing. And then right after I graduated, it was like, that's when my mom started popping off. She got this movie Acrimony, and then she was in this. And right now she's about to do her 7th season of this, one of the number one soap operas in America called The Oval. She's Emmy nominated, and all this happened after. So she probably during the time was like, man, I'm trying to pop off right now, and God or the universe, whatever, was like, nah, I got you. But I got you though, And it was right when I graduated, when she was done putting me through school and making sure I was good, right after that. So it's great seeing her proud. She also plays my mom on the show. And she was so proud of me that day, just how I just, because, she don't see me on set because we don't act together. So just seeing how people, gravitate towards me or how I gravitate towards other people, and just how we all, kind of get along. She was just so happy to see that as a mother. And it's great when my mom is smiling about me, because I did her proud. And I think the other thing I'm really proud of is, just being able to portray a character, but not just play a character, play a character that can resonate with people. There's a lot of times, man, where I just be like, I was not expecting that. I don't really know what to say. People will meet me and be like, yo, man, Jazz, I get it, like, you're my favorite character, these certain things. But a lot of times I say, hey man, thanks for putting on for the culture. And I'm like, not that I wasn't trying to do that, I'm just trying to really do my job and try to make this character as relatable as possible. But like I had a dude come up to me, swear to God, true story. And dude came up to me and he said that I was one of the reasons why he moved to Los Angeles.
Oh shit.
Because basically in the first episode, I said like this town will try to make you forget who you are and where you came from. Don't let it do that. And he was contemplating moving. And when he moved to LA, he said, I helped him through his process of moving to LA. He said, bro, I watched Bel-Air and like those words really stuck with me. And now keep in mind the day I shot those, like I'm just trying to get my lines right, not mess up, like, like do it right. Like I'm worried about not like, oh, I want to make sure that these words touch America. I'm not doing that. I'm not. I just want to make the character believable. And those things make me the most proud because I'm not just doing this for a paycheck. Like I'm an entertainer. So my job is to, if I can change your life, if you're having a sad day and I can make you laugh, if you're having, going through some problems and my scene that I did was relatable and kind of helped you, like maybe I should say that. Maybe I should go about it that way. Maybe I shouldn't go about it that way. All those are just great because it just means that I'm really doing something that's just beyond like just getting a paycheck.
Agreed. And you're putting in you're being authentic. I love to hear that. Congratulations on what a story. And Bel-Air, I think it's coming out August the 14th, season 3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
August 15th. August 15th.
And that's
Thursday.
So that will be in the episode notes, please, so people can check it out as well. But what's also, I know we've spoken about this, but just, to hone in on it, it's not like a normal spin-off show. A lot of spin-off shows suck. Your show, I think you've won like so many awards, but there's a lot of conversation. This isn't quite a spin-off. It's like so unique, still honors, but goes your own way, like you've said.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard of a show quite like how they do, inverted commas, this spin-off. And I think it's very unique. And Eddie, how are you feeling now that season 3 is about to come out? Who would have thought you'd get 3 seasons?
Man, right? It's a blessing. I've been a part of a great show that did 1 season. That's just, just the belly of the beast, really. But it's like, I'm number one, I'm very excited just because, season 1, it was like lightning in a bottle. And it was like, oh my God, took the world by storm. Season 2 was like, we got to try to overdo that. But sometimes when you try too hard, just like if you really don't want to focus on not messing up, you will. I'm not saying we messed up. I think that everyone who's watching the show would say that they love season 2. I'm in it, so I saw the changes and this, and maybe we could. I wish we would have went that way. Whatever it is, what it is. But now it's season 3. In season 3, it's kind of like, okay, now we know our characters for real. The writer's like, okay, we know exactly what we want to do. We want to add more action. We want to add more love. We want to add more stakes. We want to add more. So I think that season 3 is for sure going to be the best season yet. And I just can't wait for it to come out. Man, I've been waiting since January because we start shooting into January. And I think that's the shittiest part about it is that like I'll do a good scene and it's like, yeah, you're not going to see it for like 6 months.
And that's short. Sometimes it's a year as well.
Man, right? It's like, damn, like I look, you forgot I did that. I was killing that. I forgot.
I love it. It's also just on that, doing screenwriting, they often say that season 3 is when you start to like just go up a new level. And you dimension the first 2 seasons, typically you're finding your footing. We're going to add this, still working with the chemistry, the writers, all the other people. But season 3 is when you just go hard.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, we got it. And every character is established. Now somebody getting shot, somebody cheating on somebody.
Yeah. I love it. I'm very excited for you. And do we know anything about season 4 or is it dependent on?
Not yet, man. I'm just optimistic. I think our show is such a good show and such a relatable show to all audiences, seriously. That, I just think that it will be a blessing for another season. Obviously, we don't have, it's not in writing or anything yet, but, I'm just an optimistic person and I'm optimistic that, I think that we'll get it. I think so. I think that, we touch a lot of people's lives in a way, so, hopefully, God willing, but I'm optimistic about it.
Hopefully get another 10 more seasons. Second.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it would be amazing. Second last question. Any advice you want to give to people who want to try something different or new, but perhaps a bit fearful of doing so?
I do. Actually, I wish I knew her name. But she did. There was like this viral video that this lady was talking about me and my journey as a PA, and it was more on like an inspirational type tip. But long story short, what I would tell people to do is, if you're fearful of starting, not to sound cliche or simple, because I'll explain it, but like all you have to do is start. Like that's all you have to do. There's people who are so afraid to start, as in, okay, I want to be a writer, but I don't have a laptop. All right, write on a piece of paper. You know, you start from somewhere, because everyone had to start. And the example I have is I was a PA. You know, I didn't just go and just start auditioning. I didn't. And I didn't want a PA. It fucking sucks. Like no one wants to PA. But I was like, I have to start somewhere. And this is where I'm going to start. And okay, what are the hours and what do I have to do? I do not want to do none of this. But I have to start somewhere. So, like, not to be just so simple, but if you are listening to this and you know what a PA is and you know where I'm at now, you know that those are different things. And I chose to start, and everyone has to start somewhere in order to get to a finish. So if you're fearful of that, all you're doing is prolonging your goal. You know, because you can start right now and be popping next year or even 2 years. But then if you start in 2 years, now it's just more further. And that's all up to you. That's all up to you. So just my advice for everyone is, no matter what you're thinking about doing, start. Like I said, I'm about to start twitching, right? I had just got, I got my mic, I got a mini PC, I got a capture card, I got keyboard, monitor, and all this stuff, because I'm trying to officially do it like the streamer, like you, like I see the mic and everything. I want to make it do it. I got a camera, a little Logitech. I haven't set it up yet, but a few weeks ago, I just started. I used my PS5 and I used the PS5 camera, and it showed you know how you can see like your thumbnail of what you look like? But usually when you stream, it's like on a computer, and so you can like configure it the way you want. But my screen was on my screen blocking stuff. And I was like, what the hell? But I didn't say, I'm not going to stream because it's in the way. I just did it anyway. I was missing shots and stuff, but I was like, I'm not playing my best, but I'm like, I have to start. I went on Instagram like, yo, y'all, like, tap into my Twitch. Had a few viewers on there. I'm like, I got to start somewhere. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to get everything and like, tell me everything. Let me remember. And then like, my first stream, I'm going to have 100,000 people. Like, no, it doesn't deter me that I had 35, 50 people watching me instead of all these other people, Kai Sanat. Like, no, I don't care. Like, if I want to get to there, I'll keep at it. And one day you will, if you start and you continue. So.
I love it. And I don't think I've said this before, but also with podcasts, for example, I've done over 250 podcasts. I believe I'm in the top 1 or 2% of all the podcasts. And yes, I've got amazing listeners, but it's also because I do one every week. And so obviously I'm improving and, growing along the way, but because I'm doing it consistently, that's what's also got me to those numbers. It's the consistency, putting one out each week, and you grow. 100%. And it's exactly what you're saying is you're going to grow and learn. And when after maybe 3 or 20 or 50, you're going to be amazing at it. And I think it's great.
For sure. And also just not quitting. Because like you said, like I'm sure when you started, you had your first guest, not that many people saw it. Yeah. But you could have been like, damn, nobody's watching my shit. Like, I'm going to stop. And you did it. So, like, it's like you can't get deterred by, like, not views. That's why I enjoy people who make a lot of content on Instagram and they're not getting that many likes and stuff. It's like, that is going to happen. All you got to do is keep going. Yeah. It might be this year, next year, whatever, but if you keep going, my mom says so much shit. God damn.
I love it. Keep it going.
My mom always tells me, she says, one of the other things she says is just stand in line. Because if any line that you're in, you can be at the back of the line, or the line's around the corner. But as long as you stay in line, you're going to get to the front. It might not be that you might not be in the club next. You might be in 30, you might be in an hour, but you're gonna get in. But if you get out the line, you have no chance.
You have to be in it to win it.
So you gotta stay in line.
Brilliant. Last question before I ask how people can follow you and keep up to date with you. What is the one question I should have asked you?
Damn, these are good questions. What is the one question you should have asked me? Damn, it's like, do I want to say something profound?
It can be as simple as what's your favorite ice cream, anything you want to tie up, anything
I was
that's
about to go there. Yeah, like what's my favorite food? You didn't
and what is it? This could make or break our conversation. This could be
It's so funny because it's really like I'm just throwing that out there, but like I am such an easy to please guy. Like my favorite food that like I can have for real is like burgers.
Yeah, I love it as well.
Like it's just the combination of everything, like the meat and all, like the vegetables and the sauces all in one bite. It's just, for me, it's just one of those things. Sometimes if you have a plate of stuff, you can eat some of this, you kind of look at your plate and you're like, I'm done. But like with a burger, like it's in your hand, let me get another one. Like
it's hard to do a bad burger. There are very few bad burgers. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like, tacos, like,
nice.
I was dealing with this one girl and she was like, what do you want to eat? And I was like, because she was going to cook. And I was like, I don't really care. She was like, okay, well, tell me. And I was like, okay, honestly, you can make some tacos. And she was like, I'm not making tacos. We can get tacos anywhere. And she was like, this place, that place, I can do a steak and rice. I'm like, I mean, honestly, any of that is good with me. Because, like, I'll eat anything. But, like, my favorite, I can get some quick, whatever. Give me a good burger.
A good burger, it heals the soul. That's what I say. Any other things, or you're happy with that to be the last question?
Let's see, man. Let's see. Maybe. Oh, you know what? This is not a question that you should have asked, but why not put it on here? But like, what are my goals?
Yes.
Past this, I would say that and not to be cliche, because Will Smith is technically, I guess, my boss, as what someone would say. Not, yeah. Man, he's just really just a great guy. Like he wouldn't even call himself that, really. But man, like I want to be a movie star. That's the goal. The goal is to be a movie star. And unlike the Rel show, which I was very comedic, I was a comedic actor, and it was so good and satisfying. What I do love and enjoy about Bel-Air is just the fact that, you can't really box me in. There's scenes where I have that are really funny. It's like, man, he's funny. There's scenes where I have it like really smooth, like, wow, he's smooth. There's scenes where I can get really angry. I have some cry scenes, emotional. I'm like I'm multi-talented, multifaceted. And I look at Will Smith and Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, as like my idols. I got Martin Lawrence and Kevin Hart in there too. But for those top three, what I love about Will Smith is that you can't box this dude in. Like you can't. You do the Fresh Prince and it's hilarious and we're like, man, he's funny. Then he can do Independence Day and be an action star. Then he can do Bad Boys 2. Then he can do I Am Legend sci-fi. Then he can do Pursuit of Happiness, emotional and portraying a character. He can do Hitch, a romance. He can Emancipation, slave film. You know what I'm saying? Like he can, and it's all believable. It's not like, he tried that, but I can't really. King Richard playing someone, like all the Bad Boys, where it's like Martin Lawrence is, the kind of like, they say it like
the comedic.
It's like the straight guy and like the comedic.
Oh, guy. The comedic relief. Yeah.
Like Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, like Eddie Murphy, and I think it was Owen Wilson. To where it's like there's a guy who's supposed to be funny, and there's a guy who's funny because he's reacting to this guy being funny. Kind of like Rick and Morty. Like
Jason Bateman does that well in Arrested Development as well.
Okay, got you. Okay, you know what I'm saying? He's the one responding to like, what the fuck is wrong with all y'all? And that's why it's funny. It's like whatever. There's so many examples of these type of, things. But in Bad Boys 4, like Bad Boys, the whole thing, that's Will Smith is kind of like the smooth guy, but he's funny because he's really just checking Martin Lawrence being an idiot, and that's funny. You just seriously can't box him in, and that's my goal. My goal is people say like, okay, so like if you were to do a movie, like what would you want to do? I don't have that answer. I really don't. I don't have like, oh, my first like my movie that I wanted to like I want to do a comedy. Like not that I don't care, but I feel like I can do it all. I can lead in a comedy. I can lead in an action movie. I can lead in a romance or a sci-fi or drama. I just feel like I can do that, and I'm thankful for Bel-Air because they show me in all these different ways. So I've got a lot of good tape.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for sure. That is my goal. Movie star, not boxed in.
Amazing. And I'm so glad that you found a show where you can showcase all of your skills as well and still be good. And you've also made a case for why Will Smith could be in the GOAT conversation, just knowing all the movies off the top of your head.
Yeah. I mean, we already call him the GOAT. But like we don't like to do it too much because it sounds too corny sometimes. Because it's like, of course you don't call him the GOAT, duh. Like you on the show. But it's just truthfully, and like I always say, like I always watch Fresh Prince. Like I still watch Fresh. I don't watch it as much anymore, but I used to go to sleep to Fresh Prince and Martin every single night, and that was way before I even knew about a Bel-Air reboot. None of that. It just is such a good, relatable show. And we also didn't talk about this, but I turned the audition down at first, and I turned it down just because I didn't want to butcher. You know, like you said, you said this. I didn't, by the way, but you said reboots suck. Right?
They generally do. Yeah.
So I when I got the audition, I was like, fuck no, like this is what? I don't want to be the guy who everyone hates because I redid such an iconic show and we butchered it and did a sitcom version for no reason. So I said no. And the next day my manager sent me the script and I read it and I was like, this ain't the same at all. Like this is completely different. And then, the rest is history.
I'm glad you did it. Great decision, great manager, because managers don't always tell you to do it again the next day. So
they never do. They never do. That's why it was really for me, because I say that in certain interviews too. I always say the crazy thing about that is usually the day of, if you get on the phone, we might go back and forth about if I'm going to do it or not for a while. But once we hang up that phone and the decision is made, if I say, no, I don't, or you convey or convince me to, you're not bringing it up again.
Yeah.
That's the only audition that's ever happened. And he called me the next day. He said, man, look, I got the script for you. This is so you. I can't let you turn this down. And I was like, all right. I mean, like, if you can't let me turn it down, I'm going to go do it anyway. But like, at first I was like, no, I'm good. Dude, and he gave me the script and I read it and I auditioned and literally the rest is history when I almost didn't even go to the audition.
Great story. Before we go, how can people follow you and keep up to date with you?
Yes, just by my name, JordanLJones. So on Instagram, it is JordanLJones. Threads, JordanLJones. On Twitter, it's JordanLJones_. And on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/JordanLJones.
I'll put all of that in the episode notes below so people can check it out. This was great. I love your forward-moving mindset, and you've got a contagious energy about you, and you're a great storyteller. So this was a lot of fun, and yeah, thank you so much.
You. I appreciate you, Mike. For real, you're the man.
I love how Jordan talks about if you have a dream or goal, the first step towards that is actually starting. Often in life, we can have these grand dreams, but fears, insecurities, a laziness, etc. can come through. Jordan is encouraging us to just start. We will feel better for the experience. Jordan gives the wonderful example of how he knew he wanted to be an actor, so he put his best foot forward and went down the PA route to be in the space, and the rest is history. So I'll leave you with this epic quote. If all you can do is crawl, then start crawling. Rumi. Thank you for listening to the Funny and Failure podcast, exploring the deeper side of comedy.